So I hope you liked that book, Muncha Muncha Muncha. I love reading to kids, and so I find myself recording quite a bit of the books that I would typically read, and taking pictures of the books and making them real big on the screen, even for the kids that are live where I'm teaching, where I'm in person with them. And so it's fun to share them with you guys too. So muncha, muncha, muncha. That pattern starts on mi and goes down to do stepwise. So it's mi, mi, re, re, do, do. And I just wanted to point that out to you, okay? The screen you're looking at right now is going to teach you a new note. If you don't know it yet, some of you do know it, I'm sure. Those of you who take lessons outside of school. And I'm just going to, usually we say chicken on a fence post for this song. I'm going to call it rabbit on a fence post since we just finished, a book about those rabbits and Mr. McGreely. So the song goes like this. Rabbit on a fence post can't dance Josie. Rabbit on a fence post can't dance Josie. Rabbit on a fence post can't dance Josie. Hola Susie Brownie yo. And you can see there are a lot of eighth notes in this music. Matter of fact, why don't you count them really quick? We'll see if we come up with the same number. I get 12. Hopefully you got 12 too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there's only one quarter note. Then there are 3 of the new note that I will explain to you gets 1 beat, but it's 4 sounds. So it's going to go 2 times faster than this note here. Eighth notes are 2 sounds on 1 beat. But the new note is going to be 4 sounds on 1 beat. And of course a quarter note is just 1 sound on 1 beat. So we're going to continue using the nicknames for eighth notes and quarter note, which is TT and Ta. If you are a person who is taking private lessons, you understand how to count with numbers. You can count 2 and 3 and 4 and just kind of tune us out in the count the way your piano teacher or violin teacher or whoever has taught you. Otherwise, if it's no problem, it's good for our brain to even try different ways. So you could just take my way and be flexible and call this TT and that Ta. But for the new note, I'm going to use a word that has 4 syllables. I think I'll take our neighboring state to the north, which is Minnesota. So we're going to sing Minnesota T T T T T T Minnesota T T T T T T Minnesota T T T T T T T T T T T Ta. And I should easily be able to do that in one breath. I just didn't take a big enough breath at the beginning. So why don't you try singing that with me now again, but we use a different state. Let's use Mississippi. Take a deep breath. 2, 3. Mississippi T T T T T T Mississippi T T T T T T Mississippi T T T T T T T T T T T T Ta. Awesome. Let's try now singing it and playing the rhythm. So our hands need to match our mouth, okay? And I'm just going to drum it on my desk here and hope the computer picks that up while singing it. And let's change the word to macaroni. So that's our new word, new 4-syllable word. Sometimes you can pick a 4-syllable word that doesn't have the accent on the right syllable, and so it doesn't really fit the pattern. But typically, if you can just think of a good 4-syllable word, it should work. So what did I say? Macaroni. Here we go. 2, 3, go. Macaroni T T T T T T Macaroni T T T T T T Macaroni T T T T T T T T T T T T Ta. Great. Now let's think the syllables and just have our hands tap the rhythm. 1, 2, ready, go. Great. You want to be careful with this new note here to make sure you get exactly 4 sounds. A common problem is to stop on 3 or to push too many in, and people just think it's so super fast and they just go, they just kind of freak out. It's nice and even. Macaroni, 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 macaroni. And I'm probably going a little too fast. But don't worry, we will revisit this, okay? So let's move on. Here is a song you know, and I'm going to ask us to sing it on solfege. And I'm not going to tell you the title. I'm going to see if you can figure it out. So let's say that this note, this red note, with that extra little line called a ledger line, we're going to say that is do. And here's my pattern. If do is on a line, mi is on a line, so is on a line, and they're all doing fine. So most of the notes in this song are going to be on a line. Do is there, and there's only one of those. Mi's are all these yellow ones on that bottom line. So's are the second line. So, mi, do. And the only one in between lines is this one, and that's going to be la. Sing this with me, then we'll go a little slowly. Ready, go. So, so, mi, la, so, mi. So, so, mi, la, so, mi. So, mi, so, mi, mi, so, do. And I'm just going to give you a second to say what you think it is out loud. And I'm going to move on to the next screen, which will, I think, tell us. Nope. It's still a mystery. Well, I know what it is, but in case some of you don't, I'm just going to keep singing, keep working. Now we're going to talk about letter names in the treble clef. Singers love to use solfege. They're just beautiful vowels. Do, re, mi, fa. Sorry, a little early in the morning. But anyways, I'm not going to try that again. But they're beautiful vowels. And you can really work with your mouth shape to get exactly the right sound you want. A little easier than the lines. Lines are the letters of the lines. But instrumentalists and singers too, they should learn the lines. It's important. They need to be able to read music in a lot of different ways. You want to be flexible and know as much as you can about reading music. So if you use this clef here, it's called a treble clef. I once had a 4-year-old say, "Is that because it gets in a lot of trouble?" Which was very cute. But yeah, it's not that kind of trouble. That's spelled T-R-O-U-B-L-E. But this treble is T-R-E-B-L-E. And that means, you know, medium to high sound. So any instrument that plays medium to high notes, or any singer that sings medium to high notes, would use the treble clef, kind of generally speaking. Okay, so over here I have a code. And so for now, this bottom line is E. So let's try to memorize that. The bottom line is E. Second line is G. And see how this line comes into the curly Q of the treble clef? Sometimes this treble clef has the nickname of G clef for that reason, because it circles the G line. I know that helped me when I was first starting piano lessons, and I just needed to find the G line. I'd look inside the treble clef, and oh yeah, that's right, that line is G. And then this, this little note down here with the extra ledger line through it, it's just continuing the lines, but they don't make them long. They just shorten it up, and they call that a ledger line. That's going to be C, and piano players know that is middle C. And then the note in the space here is A. So let's try singing it on letters now. Ready? G, G, E, A, G, E. Notice this measure repeats. G, G, E, A, G, E. G, E, G, E, E, G, G, C. And if you can get those learned and memorized, just those 4 lines, you're going to be able to play that really easily again on Xylo. And I did post that, and some people have probably been playing around with it. I tried to color code again, so if the letters are hard for you, you can use the color code. So those are teal, and the teal is G, so you could play that, and the yellow is E, light blue is A, and the red, C, is this C because it's larger. We want the low one, not the high one. Okay? So I'm going to go into xylophone, and I'm going to try to play that. And most of you got that probably last time. If not, spend some time working with it. It's up on your Google Classroom.